Thanks very much, and welcome to Zealots of Zul. I'm Cliff Dunn, your Dungeon Master, and this is week number 15 for us. Our episode tonight, Memories Are Made of This. Before we get started, I just want to thank our sponsors, the Adventure Game Store and Dragon's Lair here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, Davie, Florida. Brian and the great crew here that just now kicked off the cafe side of things. So if you're in Fort Lauderdale, come down and see us. You can play board games 7 days a week. A fantastic selection, a library of literally hundreds of games that you can play, and that's just for sitting around and taking up space. And if you want to come and buy stuff, you will find the absolute best selection of games anywhere, and expertise to match that. So Brian's celebrating over 30 years in the gaming industry, including being a real big mocker on the board of the Gaming Industry Association, and so we're it's a privilege for us to be able to do our thing here. And also we want to thank you, our loyal Twitch subscribers. Our numbers have gone up on how many subscribers do we have now, Scott?
65, I think.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and that's in a real short period of time. We're very grateful for that. Also to our Patreon subscribers, patrons, that number is coming up a little bit also, right? And those of you that are subscribing to us on YouTube, please catch us at ZealZaddy on YouTube and like us and do all this stuff. We really appreciate that. And just on the back end of things, there's a lot of things that are happening in terms of putting the campaign together that you see in real time. The world itself is being, we're going to be assembling it in book form so that you'll be able to run your own campaigns on the world of Zul, including the history, none of which has really been even scratched in this short period of time. So there's a lot of stuff that our fantastic players, our cast, are just now starting to ramp up, and we're very grateful to you for this labor of love, which has been 30 years in the making, So
yes, one day you too can be a zealot.
That's right, exactly. And we've got cool. Izzy, you can open up all the cameras so we can introduce everybody. And it's funny too because we have zealots all over the place now. We've got our crew out in Zion, out in Utah. We've got I think Jim is in Virginia, which is the Old Dominion. The Zealots of Zion, Zealots of the Old Dominion. Here we got Zealots of Coconut Creek, which is nice too. But thank you very much for joining us, and we appreciate it. Last time we met, the crew was getting ready for two separate endeavors. One, the heist of the treasure house of the lictors, and of course Kepri has been preparing to take the party outside of the city for the first time on its first wilderness hike.
My lives are in my hands.
Stretch, yes. To be able to test his ranger chops. People forget he's been a city-bound ranger all this time. I don't really think of you as a ranger. I think of you more as a scout, a guide. The philosophical and emotional heart of the group.
I like to think that I can tell the truths that need to be told.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm hearing. So, by the way, Kepri, you said that you had some.
Oh,
I put a manifest together.
Oh, I did.
I know you were preparing. The one thing, just for the edification, you can.
Do you want to know? Or?
Well, just let me do the setup. The party is getting ready. The Zealots are going to be traveling into the Howling Waste, which is a stretch, a large stretch of hundreds of miles by hundreds of miles of desert and rough land that starts about 4 days out west of Vadishar and progresses in a large expanse. Kepri, that expanse borders territory that touches on the Quranian Empire, which is a very large geopolitical entity that is located far to the west of Vadishar. 4 days to the west, actually, but so a few hundred miles, and it's in an imperial fort, Fort Zayad, that Kepri's sister, Ozira, and her party are going to be meeting at. So,
I think this is the part where we introduce ourselves.
Yeah,
for those who haven't.
you can do that.
I'm first. I'm Scott Coventry, or Scott. It's weird saying your last name on the thing, right? I play a rogue Arslan, and I've lived in Batashar most of my life, and I feel very connected to the city, and in some ways a little disconnected from it lately.
Hi, I'm Mike. I play Aramis. I am rogue extraordinaire. Born and raised in Batashar.
There you go.
Yes,
He doesn't look-
two rogues to open it up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
That should say something about the type of
About
campaign it
the
is.
setting, right? Yeah.
We're a legitimate business.
I thought you were going to say two rogues don't make a right.
Oh, damn, that you missed a golden opportunity with that one.
Right.
You missed that one. Oh, well.
Always
Well,
be hashtag.
Hey, there you go. Let's try that. Hi, my name's Alex. I play Anupam Dewar. I am a monk of the highest court, estranged from my home of Gurdwara, and currently trying to make it back to free my enslaved country.
Hi, I'm Kyle Jablonski. I play Ibn al-Kepri, or Kepri for short. I am the resident ranger who, as we have already noted, has been city-bound and is looking forward to getting a chance to stretch his legs and enjoy the sun on his face.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm playing Sabine, and I just broke my cough drop, so it's hard to talk. So yes, I am the bard and spy and other things for the group, connection, contact, and no one's quite sure where I'm from or what I'm doing with myself.
And just so people know, a lot of us using cough drops because we're in Miami and we just felt winter. It became like 57 degrees today.
Right.
It's like,
And we're all like barely surviving this.
Right.
Bring out
This
the
is like, is
birds!
this what the rest of you feel? This is like the Arctic Circle down here.
People are like the 300 in a Category 5 hurricane here.
Yeah.
You know, bring it on! But, you know, the temperature drops below 60 and it's like,
No.
Furlined everything, yeah.
we are somewhat successful mutations. Where was, so before we get started before we jump back into where everybody was last week, I want to take Anupam back in a flashback to Gurdwara, the place of his land of his birth and of your origination, until and where you lived until about 2 years ago, when everything went belly up and your country was invaded by the Rakshasa kings of Sinhala. But prior to that, you were, and we'll talk a little bit before we run into this thing. You were an ascetic, a monk, and you belong to an order called. You can talk a little bit about that before we.
I belong to the order called the Scales of Fate. Basically, they were the main peacekeeping / military group of the entire country. They were the ones who kept law and order throughout the entire land. They handled all disputes, from minor disputes to major countrywide disputes. They were the ones who everybody went to.
Right, and they guarded pilgrims that were, trying to, go to holy places in that area, and generally served as a bulwark against the minions of the Rakshasa kings.
They currently do none of that though.
No,
Correct.
currently not.
Correct.
Thank
Ouch.
you for bringing up that very source.
Man.
They're going to get back there.
And,
Vicious.
and speaking to that point,
Yes.
some point prior to our current timeline, you find yourself in the dales outside the monastery. It's a very rich place. There's a lot of agriculture, and the farmlands that abut the monastery proper are responsible for feeding hundreds and hundreds of people within hundreds of miles of the area. The monastery itself is well defended. It's on a sort of an outcropping of rock that's reachable by a rope bridge,
Mm-hmm.
and on this particular day, you and you and your best friend, what was his name?
Parshitam.
Right, Parshitam, who is another monk of the Scale of Fate. You find yourself out in the doing exercise, practicing, doing practice.
Maybe perhaps some light sparring.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And he's talking to you. You in between sparring and conversing on various lessons that have been given to you by the masters. You were talking also about the state of affairs in the larger place outside of Gudwara. And Parsh was telling you that speaking of the recently installed king of Arjuna, which is a larger kingdom that has up until this point been kind of a patron for Gudwara. In fact, the royal house of Gudwara and many Gudwaran nobles, their lines originated in Arjuna. But recently there was a new king installed, and Parsh was telling you that there was a palace coup, and then he says, and some people say that the old king, his cousin, was actually murdered by their grandmother.
Ashwarya,
Her, right. The dragon princess, Imperial.
Yeah, not surprising. Well,
They eat their own in Arjuna, but I didn't realize they also ate their young.
you know what? I feel like one of the biggest mistakes we ever made was taking her in when she needed help. I mean, I'm all for mercy and, showing people mercy who deserve it, but, I mean...
Their problems became our problems.
Exactly.
And no good deed goes unpunished. Make a perception roll.
You got it. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, if we're going off old stats, then that would probably be a, 19.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What would it be if it was new stats? I don't know. So I was not raised to encourage braggarts, and so
right, I'm just literally trying to figure out what it was.
while you're talking, you see a plume of black smoke rising, and it's coming from the direction of the monastery.
Is that a cooking fire?
No, you can tell that it's not a cooking fire. I mean, unless the kitchen is,
right.
Unless somebody really.
At least we're not in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's a major grease fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Fire broken out. Yeah, let's go back.
Make an insight roll.
Insights. It's gonna be a 15.
Okay. I mean, you don't get a good feeling about it.
Yeah, of course.
The two of you,
Rushing back.
you hustle back to a place where you can get a good eye view of the place, and as you crest a ridge, you see that the lands in as far as the eye can see, the horizon is on fire, is burning. Crops, agriculture in the dozens, if not hundreds of acres have been put to the torch. And make another perception roll.
That's pretty good. 30-20.
A dirty 20? That 20 is dirty.
Oh yeah.
And in that, through the haze of gray, billowy smoke and orange flames, you also see the presence of what appear to be soldiers, and they don't look like your soldiers. They don't look like the soldiers of the protectorate of Gudwara.
Is there any alarm sounding at this point or anything?
Funny you should ask.
Gotcha.
The alarm kettle drums go off that indicate that an invasion is underway. The place has been security of the place is threatened. And now we'll jump back into the present age. Sabine, where were you when we?
That's a good question.
As far as
I was with them. We had just finished talking about. Sabine was not yet convinced that she should be going anywhere right now. She thinks it's a terrible idea. I believe she's still with everybody, yeah?
Yeah, last we broke up.
In fact, we were going to get something to eat, yes? Yes, we were going to get something to
That's
eat.
right.
Probably 100-year-old stew or something.
That's right. You were heading towards the Gilded Palm.
Right.
That's correct.
It's apparently our place now.
That's right.
I'm sure you want to take Sabine there. What's her name is there?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For the record, Kefri wanted the falafel. Kefri wanted the falafel, but
Right.
they all shot that down.
Shawarma. There was
Oh,
shawarma.
shawarma.
Did you
I remember it was
discuss?
shawarma.
Yeah.
Shawarma, okay.
So we're gonna go get shawarma, apparently.
Get it right, Kyle.
I like the Gilded Palm. I get a discount.
So
I'm
yeah.
not saying the Gilded Palm isn't good.
The shawarma place never has any news.
It doesn't have news.
It's just a place for food.
Yes, and I would like food.
It doesn't have atmosphere.
Correct.
I mean, to be,
If you want atmosphere, you can go to the top of a mountain. I want some shawarma.
I mean, to be fair, I think I have to side with Kepri on this one. I mean, do we always need to be? I mean, especially is that really the atmosphere we need to be in? I mean, all the time.
I acquiesce to whatever they want. Yeah, I will get my
We'll get
shawarma.
shawarma today.
Do not make me twist.
Shawarma.
Do not make me twist your legs about it.
That's a Kathy cartoon. Shawarma. Okay, sorry.
It's like, all right. Well, look, if you guys want to go to the Gilded Palm, we'll go to the Gilded Palm. I'm just saying, he has a point.
Oh well.
I do have a throat to slit there.
Maybe shawarma would be a better
Oh,
option. I'm just
that
saying.
girl.
Yes, we still owe her for betraying us.
Fair enough.
You can have words with her.
Maybe.
I hadn't planned on having words with her. No.
To be fair, there is something to be said for forgiveness, and
And what exactly is it that should be said about forgiveness?
that it's good.
No harm came to you.
Maybe she could be
Could
turned
have.
to an asset.
She can't be trusted.
Oh, that does. I don't mean trust her. I mean use her in ways when we need to.
He has a point.
Can we
There's very little
stow?
satisfaction in
Can
that.
we stow this talk of knives and slitting until we have filled our bellies? I am starving.
Ah, come in,
We'll go to a
friends.
shawarma place.
And you go to a shawarma place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they carve it right off the.
4 guys shawarma. They carve it right off the side. It looks fresh. Shawarma, very fresh.
And I'll take the lamb if you have it.
Sorry,
There
no
you
lamb.
are.
Oh. What was that?
Eleandro comes into
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, you were looking for us.
International House of Shawarma.
Right.
Ihas.
Yeah.
You must have been looking for us because we are never here.
I was actually looking for Sabine.
Hello.
You and I have a date today in the gardens of Kamal.
Ah,
Sorry.
very well.
I've secured an appointment with Lord Tremalkes,
Excellent.
who wishes to interview you for the position, for the entertainment
Very well.
on his Yaldo fate.
And will I be needing my entertainment accoutrements, or did he have other plans?
No, it would be a good idea to bring whatever
Very well.
various and such things as you plan to do.
Very
I've spoken you up to his major domo.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's entirely self-serving. It's a chance for us to abscond from the rest of these.
We're a respectable bunch.
He hands you
remind
something
me
away.
again why we came here.
Shawarma off your mouth. Wipe the
Don't shut them up
goat
for a
grease
month.
off your face.
Tzatziki right off.
Very well. If you'll accompany back to the temple, I will get the things I need. I'm not particularly hungry anyway. I see no reason not to go now.
I'm happy to be your escort.
More shawarma
Thank you.
fellas.
Let's go to my quarters then.
Missing out.
Arslan,
It's a little dry.
Atlas.
It looks.
It's fine. It's good. So,
Tell us about the screaming waste or something.
the Howling Waste.
Howling waste.
You know what the Howling Waste is. You've heard of it.
I'm teasing.
No.
Yes, assuming all goes well, we will make the journey. We will reach Fort Zaid in about a week or so, give or take, and make the return trip back, hopefully in the company of my dear sister and her entourage.
When I came to Banishard, did I go through the Howling Waste? Or did I come from another
No, you
direction?
came from. You did not come through the Howling
Okay.
Waste.
I have guided a fair number of caravans.
They've all made it through?
Oh yes, not everyone made it through, but that's the nature of the Howling Waste. So, I'm sure with our limited number and my expertise, we will make it through just fine, more or less intact.
I hear that the sand sometimes swallows people up there.
Oh, if you're lucky. Sometimes the sandstorm gets so bad it can flay the flesh from bone.
Why are we
You're
going there
not,
again?
you're not touching your shawarma.
I'm touching it.
Oh. Oh, we're going there to retrieve my sister.
Right, yes.
Well,
You're not touching your shawarma.
There, I've touched it.
Jeez.
I eat it. Not as good as a stew, but I don't do it. I mean, this is only what, 6-year-old shawarma?
6 years.
It needs another
Only been
94
cooking
years.
for 6 years, that's it.
I have made preparations. In addition to anything we carry, I believe I have thought of all possibilities short of the gods themselves coming to stop our progress.
So, when we're out there escorting her and her entourage back, what are the risks that we need to prepare for that aren't necessarily the same risks you need to prepare for?
That you need to prepare.
Are there bandits along the way?
Oh, yes.
Or
Oh yes, the
beasts?
beasts. Yes and no. There are many. There's a fair viper or two along the way that you must watch your feet. Occasionally, there's just rumors of things being in the desert.
Mostly camels.
Mostly camels. Mostly camels. There's the what is their name? The Kuranaji. The locals are one of the things you may want to worry about. However, if you are courteous, odds are we will not have to worry about them too much. Though that said, do keep your Chris near you if we are to encounter them. But let me do the talking.
Both of you make history rolls.
I was gonna say there are bandits that work out of Vanishar that
Make a history roll.
10.
9.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say you've heard stories about brigands in the Howling Waste. You know, I mean, it's you guys are.
I was just trying to see if there were things beyond that.
Sure. Well, I mean,
The sun will be
Let me
up.
say it a different way. Okay. When I say the word brigand and the word denizen are almost synonymous in the local mindset. So when you, I mean, which is a very clearly unfair cultural bias. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. But for people in Vadishar, you know, and by the way, you know, again, the wasteland begins about 4 days away. So most people never. I mean, like you could say with a moral certainty that a Nod the storyteller has never seen the first sand of the Howling Waste. Okay, he's never left the city. You know, so there's a lot of people that wouldn't. Right? And for days around Vadishar is lush, fertile, you know, etc. Doesn't start getting rough until you get, you know, about 4 days out west. And then it's, as he said, several days, and then Fort Zayad is, you know, is within Quranian territory.
But there are brigands that make their living preying on the caravans.
Leaving Fort
So, and
Zayad.
you would know, I'm sorry, not to interrupt, you would know that what they would consider, like I said, for them, the brigands is basically anybody that's dipping their skin into an oasis is probably there. It's up to no good.
Of course.
That's what most people, citified people, but you would know the difference. That
Yeah.
But I mean, then again, there's also a fun one.
There is a fun. Once we get to, it will take us 4 days to get into the wastes proper, and from that point, our biggest foe will be the environment itself, the sun, the wind, the sand itself. It's when we leave Zaid and get to the oasis of Tabari and leave Vadashar proper is when we will most likely encounter any human problems.
Okay.
And do not worry, I've done this a time or two. I have
He's read a few books about it.
I have read a few books about it, thank you. I've done this a time or two. Most of my people get back. The ones who don't listen to me. I'm sure that's entirely coincidence whatsoever.
Yes, that's entirely what it sounds like.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
After we're done here, I'll have to go to the caravanserai to make sure that my preparations are complete. Yeah, I have a bill of sale here for supplies that I've gathered. I did not want to burden you with the trouble, so I had to make sure that some of this I believe me. As much as you carry, I don't think you carry everything on the list.
And I have no camels.
Indeed. So, hence the caravanserai. What?
No.
Is there any
No concern.
questions, concerns, comments? No?
We're going to meet your sister, that's all I need to know.
Wow.
How quickly will we be back then? 2 weeks or less.
2 weeks,
10 days.
10 days is...
Can you push camels to go faster?
You can, just not very well.
Now let me just, I want to, how far did we say Yalda was, we said about a month off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we got...
I mean, I want to retcon that to say it's about 6 weeks off, okay? So, and I say that because I don't want there to be any...
Time pressure.
Yeah, I understand I'm under less stress as the dungeon master than you are, but I understand it. So I don't want to. Sometimes there's a purpose in the story to have the time constraint, but there isn't in this case. So I want to pull it back a little bit. I also wanted to take the opportunity to retcon something else, also because in my enthusiasm last week, it's like Olivier said, "Let the wig do the work," and obviously I don't have that issue, but in my interest 2 weeks ago to let the mask do the work, I forgot to impart a key piece of information to it was Arslan and Kepri that were at the small tower, which we'll now call the small tower of the Zealots because everyone has
It's a respectful name.
yeah.
I don't know.
What's that?
Where did
Cliff
Cliff go?
disappeared.
You're exactly. Where is he?
We never let it
The
object.
person in the mask told you. By the way, the person in the mask, all of that is capitalized. Every one of those, every letter is capitalized, including the T and I. When that person told you that the best way into the treasure house was above, around, or below, but below is best.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's a key piece.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's good to know.
So I apologize. I wanted to, plus there was a chance to.
Yeah, of course.
Because I was going to plan on
Bring out the
some
mask.
reconnaissance.
I never get to wear this outside of my house. I mean,
We needed to spend some time doing that.
Okay, we know what you've been doing at home now. Okay.
Hey man, no judgments here.
You're going to the sewers this early?
Not right now.
Later.
Preferably,
After we return.
okay. And preferably before lunch. Do you really want to be there in the sewers after lunch? Think about it.
I would prefer not to.
Probably middle of the night's best.
There we go. Less people tend to use their the privies.
Not as many prying eyes.
You gonna eat that? Oh, thank you. It's good. I don't know what
I
you're
know,
doing.
I'm eating.
I don't know what you're
I
doing.
kind of wish I didn't
It's
know
an
what I
acquired
now.
taste.
For sure.
Yeah.
on the way to the Temple of Baal, Eliandro tells you, this should be a very easy part of this operation, my dear. The ones I really don't envy are the ones who are going to find themselves in the sewers that night.
Indeed. It definitely won't be me.
That's why I have you meeting Tremonkis, who I'm certain is going to be putty in your hands. You get to the ziggurat, and you needed to get you wanted to get your
Loot,
costuming.
bills, veils, fans, fire, whatever he wants.
And as you're leaving as you're leaving your room, and Eliandro helps you carry out these pieces, and he encourages. Oh, that's a good one. He'll love that. Perfect. Make a perception roll after the two of you.
Forgot to bring. I mean, I brought them, but I forgot to take out my dice. You think I might need that?
You're role-playing?
I know, right? I'll never need dice in this game.
Never.
Perception. I'll never need perception either.
Not without any eyes, you won't.
17.
Okay. And as you're leaving, you notice that the archpriest has some guests, and that he is also seeing out around the same time that you're leaving. And one of them is an older man. He looks older than about the archpriest's age. He's got a shock of gray-white hair, and he's dressed in some sort of. He has a small group of people with him that are all make an insight.
20.
Okay, you recognize this as a group of priests of Ishtar, and in fact, you see that that the men all have makeup on. You know, they're all I wouldn't call them cross-dressing, but they
Eyeliner,
The most
some
religious
blush.
close thing to that.
right, exactly right, and the oldest of them, as you're sort of leaving unobtrusively, but he notices you, and you see, like, as you're walking by, he's talking to the archpriest of Baal, but his eyes are following you as
I turn to him and smile.
he nods, and their conversation continues, and you and Eliandro leave.
Who was that?
That was the chief priest of Ishtar, Radamanthus.
Radamanthus. I shall have to remember that. Why do you think he took an interest in me?
Maybe he has a party coming up. You are carrying musical instruments,
It's true.
and that is a lovely lute.
Thank you.
Is that what you play, the lute?
Loot, zills, sing, fans, veils, fire, storytelling, everything.
And you depart for the gardens of Kamal.
Everything that I need, I can carry myself if need be.
Okay,
But
good.
if he wants to help me,
And he does.
He's a gentleman.
yeah.
Do you happen to have that? I have some of them with me, but just for...
What you looking for, Chief?
No, these right here.
Oh.
So you have he has a pass. We don't have a camera here. Do we have a camera here?
We can set it up. It's there. We just have to go to the other screen.
I mean, it doesn't.
I can hold this one up in front of this
That'd be
camera.
perfect. You could do that. So it's a pass that, as we discussed a couple of weeks ago, it requires a pass to get into the Gardens of Kamal because it is kind of an exclusive district. It's a walled district. It's where the wealthiest, most, that's where the 1% of Vadishar dwell. The wealthiest merchants, the most powerful nobles in the city dwell there. And when you arrive, there is a wall. It's there's a heavy iron-bound gate, and there are city guards of black helms, and they're guards. So
Smile. Hello, gentlemen. I'm here for an audition with Lord Tremalkius.
you'll probably get it.
I hope so. Hopefully I'll be playing his Yaldo Fest.
They
Will you be here at Yaldo?
damn tootin' I am.
Oh, good. Hopefully I'll see you. Perhaps we'll have time to talk.
And you make an insight check.
Schmooze.
I'm getting a feeling you could pass this with a 5.
18.
Yeah, you get a sense that you made a friend.
Okay.
And they
Now to use him and discard him.
actually make
So
a
cynical.
make another
She could just keep using them.
perception roll.
Okay. That wasn't so good. 5.
Okay. Your time at the gate more or less passes uneventfully, and
What's your name?
I wasn't planning on that.
I knew I shouldn't ask, but she would ask.
Yusuf.
Yusuf.
Yeah.
Yusuf.
Yusuf.
It's such a pleasure to meet you.
He takes your hand.
See you later, Yusuf.
And you enter the Gardens of Kamal, which are themselves exquisite. First of all, the gate itself is about 15 feet high. It was obviously made for entry by somebody who was larger than. And as you know, Kamal, the first king of Vadishar, was reputed to be of the blood of the giant kings, and of the type that Anupam fought in
Right.
the.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But good job, you did good.
Still fresh, guys.
Is it?
Still
Okay.
fresh.
Just a couple of days old. That's
Yeah.
true.
Put the meat on it.
And it literally within, as the name stands, it is extremely lush. I mean, at one point, it was probably a much more central structure, which has now been apportioned out into individual villas and estate houses for the wealthy and powerful. But you do see tremendous varieties of plants, lots of foliage, things that you haven't seen before. There's also architectural wonders that include aqueducts, water, etc. Fountains, a lot of fountains, and,
Right.
and
It's really
outdoor
beautiful,
baths, right? That go with the theme of the gardens. And there's business, there's shops and boutiques. There's a lot of people here. You can see that there's it's a world that within its own within its own confines. There's shops and the like. You can see wealthy women going into places where they're maybe having their hair done or the like, and eventually and make a perception roll.
1.
Okay.
Natural 1. Plus
Not a natural
3.
one, right?
Not a dirty one.
Not a dirty
No.
one. Just
Straight up one.
Natural 1 plus 3.
And
Plus 2.
you're so overwhelmed by the sensations, and it's also it smells beautiful also because it's
Sure.
really it's like
Mhm.
jasmine and other scents that are all specific, and there's also, along with that, many of these plants look like they've been specifically chosen to attract certain types of birds and insects. You have butterflies that seem
Right.
to, be nestling around, So it's really
Overly beautiful.
it is overwhelming, and
Yeah.
it's overwhelming. And Eliandro clears his throat loudly and says, "I thought you might be interested in that also."
What's that?
You see a very large 3-story structure, very with heavy dark walls, surrounded by a wall, and he says, "Yon treasure house."
Yes.
And you see it's guarded, and you see that there are guards walking along the walls, and it's daylight, and it's beautiful, and it's surrounded by. I mean, the place is large, and it's a standalone structure, but and then a little bit past it, there's a small cul-de-sac type street, that you might find in between.
That was a bad time to roll 1.
And but you were, and then the next over onto the next street, he said, "And here, the house of our host," and it is the large, also very, very well apportioned and walled villa of Lord Tremonti's. Arslan, what are you up to?
We're finishing our food, and
Well, some of us are.
so
You don't like your.
when do we
What's
need
the matter? You don't like your shawarma?
Yeah, Brother Anupam, don't you care for
It
the
was
shawarma?
actually quite delicious up until about a few minutes ago.
Oh.
Luckily, I didn't get
Yeah,
there. So
no,
there
let
you
me get
go.
it.
Go ahead. If you
I'll
just
take
go,
a
have
little
at it. Have at it. It's fine.
I ate my alley.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, at least I didn't order the kebab.
So when do we have to leave? Tomorrow?
2 days.
2 days from now.
The timetable is a little forgiving. We can, if we push it a little bit, we can get there a little earlier. But 2 weeks is more or less the back and forth time.
2 days is enough time to start preparations and some things. It would be good to start getting people looking into some of our concerns.
I agree.
And that's enough time to get them started.
I don't know
And then
there.
when we return, hopefully they'll have the information we need. And 2 weeks should be ample time for most of these people to find the information that we're going to request of them.
Out of game, I mean, do you have an idea? Well,
A few things that I think would be good to know would be, I mean, the city is obviously architected in some way.
correct.
It'd be interesting that we could find any kind of architectural stuff that mentions ins and outs of the sewage system. Maybe there's a dwarf that runs all the sewers that we can
Right.
find.
Right. A dwarf, a half orc, a half drow.
A little person.
You
a
mean
really smart aleck. You want to drink a lot, and we can really
To
charm
be fair, I thought you
info
meant
out of
something.
Yeah.
No, that was a Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah.
Remember, he started doing the sewage, the
Oh.
sewers.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I think that you actually wanted to scout some of it once we have a little more information. I mean, actually, we can do it without the information, but I would hate to get lost in the sewers
Yes, that's why.
Well,
for
also,
days on end.
there's also the question of how you're gonna get the wealth out.
Actually, we've had some conversations
Yeah.
about that. You had the idea of dropping silks where we could drop from the top all the way to the wall
Have a cart waiting on the other end.
on the other end of the cart.
We'll
Another
attach
would
one
be,
end of the silk to, say, an arrow or something. Shoot it at the other side.
there are probably better ways than an arrow. Maybe
Oh,
someone
probably.
actually moves it. Just
Well, whatever. For whatever purpose you.
then there would be potentially a cart that is used for something at the party. I'm sure there are carts and wagons and stuff that are being brought of people or things being brought in and out of the party. That's potentially an option. The sewer. I mean, if we're gonna go down on the way in, we could go down on the way out too. Probably you're gonna go down on the way out. But then getting it through the sewer is a big concern too. How do you carry all of that?
Rafts.
That's an
Okay.
option. Yeah.
That is an option. But again, it's
People.
a lot. But again, it's a lot to move at the same time.
People is not something I want to make that option
Last.
option X, because the moment you introduce that into the equation, we already have enough people who already know.
Yeah, and there's risk every time you bring another name into it. Rafts are a good idea. How do you get the rafts into the sewer? We could build them there.
Take the materials in and
This sewer, I mean, well, you
I
can.
was actually going to bring up like how big. I mean, potentially how big of a raft could we fit in the sewer though? That's the only thing.
Well, I mean,
How
a
much-
sewer. I mean, a sewer is you
Not
know.
like modern sewers. They're big places.
Yeah, and you also have. I mean,
Walkable and all that.
yeah, you have. I mean, even if it's this wide, you could get some kind of.
You
You
can get a
know.
cart through
The other thing would be
Well, you
good
could
to
get a
know would
boat,
be-
or I mean, not a boat, but you know what I mean. We'll use the word raft. You know,
I mean, there's
a
also
conveyance water.
buoyancy issues with that as
And-
well. Because how much weight can we put on it?
Yeah,
That's
and
something to
also
figure
if
out.
there are locked passages in there, or there are gratings with old
Right,
rusted out
exactly.
locks, we need to know
Make
that.
an insight roll. Well, you can both make insight rolls actually.
Ooh, I rolled a 19.
25.
Yeah, so you know, Durhan might be somebody that might be able to answer that question in terms of knowing. You know, he might not know the sewers per se, but he might know its layout. Eliandro might be, you know, obviously.
Right.
Zamira and Asmira.
And I was going to say Esmira also. That was again apropos that.
I mean, that's part of the reason she has so much knowledge of the city. She's been here forever.
One other thing that we should be aware of, if we're doing work running things in and out of the sewer, do we need to be concerned about the king of the
Beggar
the
King?
beggar king? We're sort of walking through his lair, aren't we?
I'm sure we'll have to give him something. Out of respect.
I'm thinking of
That was part of the reason that's wanted to do the reconnaissance and see how we could get in there. We had to go, you know,
True.
did we have to interface with him or not? So there's a lot of questions.
Yes.
lots more footwork to be done.
Yes.
We also need to clear out the warehouse.
Indeed, that's something.
But that can be done when we get back.
Of course, map it out proper. Seal off any exits and entrances that we don't want to exist anymore.
Find hidden places to put things. The most valuable things.
I will have to. I will see about drawing us up a not plan, but we'll call it a proto plan. Something to keep our ideas in check. Do not worry. I will write it in Kimish. I am relatively certain that not many speak the language around here.
Or can read hieroglyphics.
That too.
You write in hieroglyphs, right?
I do.
Yeah, because
I'm
that's one of your. I mean, you have your home language, right?
Yeah, I'm trained in Quranian, Almarak, and Kimish.
Nice.
That's an excellent way to make sure that we don't know our plans, too.
Nobody.
Well-
Completely impenetrable.
All the more reason to keep me alive.
Is this a raft with children in it?
No, that's a raft with a burden.
That one actually means a bird.
I know it's very confusing, but
There's a reason it's one of the oldest language systems. Doesn't mean it was the most advanced, just the oldest. But I will see about doing something like that, and so we can have it all in order. I will keep it on my person and guard it with my life, as you should guard me with your lives.
And
And a hush, and an embarrassing, insulting silence falls over the group.
Capri is still oblivious and just smiling like a fool, just eating whatever's left of Anupam's shawarma.
So you say you have a sister, huh? Says Alice.
But I will see to it that we are well versed in our options. They will be safe. You got my word on that.
We should do our reconnaissance. And because once we know, we can determine if there are people we need to pay off or...
Well, like you
Deal
said,
with
we can, Esmera, Dirhan, Alejandro, these,
Right.
I mean,
They
these
know
are some of the
things.
things, right. Especially as Mira, I mean, these are some of the things that she can look into.
We need to set them off on their tasks.
I've spoken to her already.
She's already looking.
And who else do we need to send off while we are away on sojourn? Let me.
Well, Eleanor's already working on things. I believe the Forger is already doing something about the invites.
Then let me ask this: who else would we want to send off to do something?
Actually, I would like to speak with who was the one who had the key? We need to make a copy of that key.
Dirhan.
Yeah.
Dear.
Yes, that's right.
He's supposed to come back to
He's
see
coming,
us.
yes, he was.
Yes, it's
Right,
later
so-
tonight.
So we need to have some way of pressing it into a mold or something to make a duplicate of that key.
He's
Yeah, clay.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm out of character.
It's fine. We've got two master thieves. They would know how to use
Absolutely, yeah, you would know.
Yeah.
Press, how to press get a key pressing.
All right. So it seems like we have things very much in
Yeah.
order for the most part. I mean, we still
Well,
have
they
much.
all have to be done.
Yeah, they have to be done, of course. But much of the groundwork still needs to be done. But we are making good progress on our initial plans.
We still need to find out about the masked gentleman.
That has been weighing heavily upon my mind.
Person, you don't know if it's a man or
Person.
woman. I mean,
Yeah, it's true.
That was upsetting.
You're telling us.
Yeah.
Imagine someone coming out of you in the middle of the night. Sends shivers down my spine.
And that concern is going to linger until we know something more.
I'm sorry, masked person? What happened now?
Did we tell him about the masked person?
I don't think we did now that I think about it. I think he was meditating or whatever that's sleeping, sitting up.
Yes.
Probably. To be
Sleeping
fair, to be fair, I probably missed a lot. But Matt, has somebody approached you about this?
Yes, unfortunately. We were going to make sure that no one had broken into our new home. Nobody did, thankfully.
Or at least they didn't break into the foyer.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
as far as we know. When we were approached by some individual in a group of 30 people.
30.
It's every time it gets a little bigger. It's really
going to get
amazing.
it's
Yeah.
going to get bigger.
It's gonna be 100 people soon.
It's a fishing story.
It's a big fish story.
And this person knew of our venture and said they could, what was it? Do you remember the exact wording or the gist of it at least?
that they represented some of the people who had lost wares into the treasure house in
the
that time,
prescriptions. So,
and they would like to get
They
there
have an interest of
in making sure it succeeds. But they want
they want us to
their
succeed.
treasure back.
They want us to succeed on the surface. They mentioned about the air, the sides, and underneath, and how underneath is best. Something along those lines.
So they just want certain things from the room back.
Ooh, they were not specific. They did not say. I'm sure we will hear from them again. We want to be ready and figure out who they are. Because I do not know about you, but I do not like it when masked people approach me at night. Especially about things that they should not know.
And they could be useful and honest in what they want at their intention,
Right.
but then why the mask?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, could somebody really say that we are the most trustworthy of people as well?
Of course. We have nothing but
Well,
the
not
best
you
intentions.
personally, but the rest of us.
Oh, well.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
We're very good at disguising our intent.
I am as honest as the sun is bright.
Yes, I know I've been nothing but shifty.
Of course. Yes.
Well,
So, I So we will set our.
Do you think that the Archpriest of Vaul would know what that mask was?
That is the thought.
He has a lot of knowledge of lore and that sort of stuff.
I mean, he has lived in the city for quite some time. He might know.
You know who else might? The storyteller.
Oh, yes.
He might know. He's been here so long and he's seen everything, and
I
he
mean,
may cost drinks.
I'll give you all an insight check. It's not a lot to go on.
Okay.
It's not.
I mean, I'm not saying don't pursue it, but I'm just saying that it's the.
Well, I don't necessarily want to pursue it. I want someone else to pursue it.
Sure. What I'm saying is that the motif of the mask is not necessarily
Doesn't seem connected.
yeah, it's
Doesn't
very
mean
generic.
anything.
It's not like there's a unicorn horn, coming out of the center with the crest of, let's say it's a familiar enough motif that it doesn't, it's not that uncommon.
It's nondescript. It's
It might just be a party mask
yeah.
from whatever the equivalent of party city
Yeah,
is.
it's a mask, but it's a mask. It's not necessarily.
Okay.
Sometimes
You
a
know.
mask is just a mask.
The Paradoc complimented Anupam's jacket, so I just wanted to shout that out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
He's cold.
I am. It's like I
is a
said,
little
it's cold.
chilly.
It's actually
Oh,
cold
it's
here in
freezing
Florida.
here.
I appreciate it. Thank you, though. I like it.
Anyways, as we were saying, I think we have everything. We need to get a few more things in order. I need to make sure that the wares are ready.
And who did you want to get that to?
I probably would.
I know I'm going to take that home and lock myself in my room and read it with relish tonight.
It's
Maybe some
it's perfume.
sauerkraut too.
Yeah.
It's perfume for your pleasure.
Excellent. But is it ribbed?
Wow.
Not quite. Next time, perhaps. I know Draglio isn't there, but I'm sure he would have representatives.
Sure.
So I trust him the most. So I probably.
This is your will?
No. My will is to live. Thank you very much. No, this is a series of things that he or someone on his behalf would be able to acquire.
Okay.
So, and I just want to go to the caravansary and see that it's
Sure. I mean, you have regular people that you get supplies from.
Oh,
You
yes,
know, I
of
mean,
course.
if you-
It's more of like not just when I say Draglio, he's just been one of the big names I know.
Yeah, sure.
But
And he's somebody that you've worked on his caravan in the past.
Yeah,
so-
I've gone through the waste with him a time or two. Once,
Right.
at least once. And so,
Sounds dirty. We've been through the waste a few times.
but yeah, it'd be basically not just him, but the people that I go to for the supplies.
Cool.
So next time you encounter the masked person, it's imperative that you find out who it is. They have you
Almost guaranteed they're going to show
they have
up
us
soon.
at a huge disadvantage.
In the Gardens of Kamal, you are admitted into Lord Tremalki's villa, and it's extremely well apportioned, and it is filled with items that are both expensive and beautiful.
Make an inventory list.
It's a shame you don't know any thieves. And you're taken to meet him. You actually had met him at a previous
Yes,
event.
at Lord Kenthon's.
Correct. And as for the benefit of those who haven't seen him, he's a portly fellow who, in a style from a previous epoch, he wears a wig that is very styled and curled, and he has.
He looks like a large 4-year-old.
He does. He looks like a large 4-year-old, right? Like the kid that used to do the smorgasbord commercial back in the day, you know. But yeah, he looks like a kid with a wig.
Yeah, it's like a bowl haircut, but like curly on the
Correct.
ends.
Yes.
Giant 4-year-old.
The wonderful Eleandro tells me that you are excellent in all manner of entertainment, my dear. Is that true?
I am Lord Tremalkis. And what a pleasure it is to see you.
Have we met before? You look very familiar to me. I never forget a face.
Yes, we met at Lord Kenthon's. I was performing.
Oh, Lord Kendall, the ambassador plenipotentiary from the city-state of the dread Overlord. Did you ever entertain for him? Do you know his mistress, dreadful woman. Anyway, tell me about your repertoire, my dear. Have you eaten? I usually don't feed the help, but you look like someone who I can pass the time and a meal with, and perhaps even a cup of something. Do you drink? What do you like to drink? Do you like the local wine? My family owns one of the finest vineyards in the valley. Get the young lady something to drink, and myself fill my cup with something as well also. May I ask you a question? Do you know the sonnet of Ptolemaeus and Cerces?
I do, yes.
My mother will be in attendance on the fete, and she absolutely hates it. I insist that you sing it loudly.
I shall, whatever my lord would like.
Carry on, my dear. Please bring out your masks and such. I would be very interested to see your entire repertoire. You have my entire attention.
Oh boy.
Thank you, my lord. I sing, play the lute, tell stories, dance and play the zills simultaneously, dance with silks, swords, fans, and even fire, if my lord would like it.
Fire, well, that sounds absolutely fascinating. It reminds me of a story that I read some time ago. Tell me, what is the rest of your afternoon looking like, my dear? I would like to show you the rest of the accommodation.
My afternoon is entirely devoted to you.
And Lord Tremonkeys takes you, and you notice that Eleandro takes a moment while he asks to actually step back and disappear.
I would if I could as well.
Right.
Yes.
And so you are shown by the extremely happily engaged Lord Tremonkeys.
I continue to make him happy.
You know, my family owns all of the great real estate in the city-state. We have all of the very best places everywhere.
I have heard, yes. People speak very highly of you and your family.
They do! Well, you must tell me who those people are, my dear.
Oh,
He says that with a straight face.
Everyone. I don't. Though I have met many people.
Oh, don't be modest, my dear. I have a right to know who my admirers are.
The common people, my lord, speak very.
Oh, the common people.
The rabble.
Well,
The common
only
people.
ones
I have no use for the rabble, my dear. If I did, I would be living in a hovel in a rabbit's run.
Indeed. Well, you know,
What's the place? Name of a place?
I'm
outside the
sure
walls.
Lord Kenthum speaks highly of
He
you.
owns real estate there too, probably.
Slow Lord.
Our we'll take a pause.
I was gonna say, guys, if I may.
Yes.
We're gonna catch you, right?
Yes. We love Lord Cherokee so.
Yes, we do.
Where what do the rest of you find yourself? But did you want to give me that? I mean,
I do.
I feel like there was a moment that we had this moment where I should have asked you for your hand, and then it's disappeared, and now you're holding on to that thing. Give it. No, but who did you want to give it to? You wanted to give it to somebody.
Just to someone to represent a trope. I didn't know if you wanted to make a scene of it. It's fine. A scene of it.
I do want to make a scene
Yeah,
out of it.
then give
Well,
it.
then
So
take
it's
it back. No, I want you. You have to set up that we.
Gentlemen, there's no need to make a scene.
Right, girls, you're both pretty. I want to do. We'll do it after the intermission. We're gonna take a short break in a minute. Actually, just so I can regroup, and then we'll come back. Okay. Thanks very much for staying with us. Follow us on. Well, you're already following us on Twitch. If you haven't already caught up with the previous episodes, you can catch us on YouTube at ZealZaddy, and we'll be back after a very short break. 10 minutes. Stay with us. Thank you. we're back, and thanks very much for sticking with us through the break. Also want to thank those people who have been tuning in, following us. We want to thank Paradoc for the extra love this time for the Zealots.
You rock,
tossing those
Leon.
bits. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. No names.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if he doesn't want to be known. I don't know. You know,
Sorry.
I'm just saying. Because we know there's a few people that in our convention like to be enjoy the anonymity of whatever. So, but thank you very much. We really appreciate it, and
we know
more to come. When last we did you have a specific thing that you guys wanted to?
We wanted to meet with the Deerhand
Okay.
to make that key.
So you were going to go back to you were going to keep your appointment with Deerhand at your. He was going to meet you back at your shop, right?
And I need to go have somebody make me a clay mold. I can mold the key from, which I don't think is a big deal. That's
No, it's not. No, that's.
I can probably do it myself.
You could do it yourself. Sure, it's a thing. It's like
yeah.
By the way,
different
I'm
clay.
probably not going to be needed for the rest of this, am I?
For the rest of.
You need to sleep some more.
No, I feel all right. It's just well, remember the incident with the quote unquote ambassador.
Ah.
Yeah. The high priest did put out an invitation for him to come to the temple.
I believe we did discuss that. Did you want to take him up on that, or did you want to wait? You could.
the archpriest hadn't actually invited him. He suggested that. That was a time.
He said politely,
Okay.
let's not do this here.
Right,
Okay.
let's not do this here. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I thought that was like okay. That was me misunderstanding.
That's okay.
Got it. Okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, I thought the
'Cause
plan.
I was going to go back and check to see, hey,
Yeah.
is he actually coming tonight or something? You know, like.
If there's extra time, we should probably scout the sewers. But at least potential entrances to the sewers from this side. Maybe find somebody who has plans. If there's somebody that has that, your friend might know of someone who has that. You think?
I would think that'd be a logical move to make, especially in our somewhat limited time frame at the moment. My thoughts, at least. Well,
My limited knowledge of the sewers, I mean, that's something that's going to take hours and hours. It's not a half-day thing.
Well, you would need. It's
a slow trudge.
Yeah.
We should probably do it when we get back then.
Right. Because it's going to take time. We're going to need to document what we're doing. And
I mean, I think the only thing that we need to do before then is make the mold of the key and see what your Deerhound has to say.
Yes.
In addition to what he already told us.
okay. And you are to meet Deerhound later tonight.
Yes.
We are, I suppose.
It's out this afternoon.
This afternoon? Oh, was this afternoon? Oh, okay. Look at me, my mind ahead in the clouds. All right. I must make a stop at the caravansary to ensure that the supplies are in order. And anyone who wishes to accompany me can, but it seems we have everything in order at the moment. I will see about the preparations are made for the items that will keep us alive.
Do you need company?
Anyone,
My
my invitation is open to any and all.
I was going to stay discreetly behind him to see if there was anybody following him or watching his move.
Okay.
Well, I was
I
going
don't
to
know. I'm just wondering with all that's transpired. I just want to see if there's anybody.
I'm not against this. Perhaps you will find our masked fellows.
It's a possibility. I mean, either way, I'll come with you, if anything.
Very well.
We have the finest view of the Black Casbah here. I sometimes come up here to stare and imagine what sorts of interesting people are being held, incarcerated, and tortured inside there. Do you ever do such a thing, my dear?
All the time.
What a delightful creature you are.
Thank you.
Make a perception roll.
that out.
I am so overwhelmed with Lord Tremalki's that I only got a 5.
He's a handful, you know.
Yes.
But with all, you've still managed to kind of you have noticed that the places that he takes you, he points out the various histories of the things that he has. But you take a special note of the areas that face the treasure house, because it is separated by kind of a sort of a narrow alley between the two of them.
And what a lovely view you have of what is this building here?
Oh, that!
Yes.
Oh, it is filthy, disgusting. It is the treasure house of the lictors. It is there where the ill-gotten gains of the miscreant hegemons of the Pearl, all of the wealth that was taken by well, we don't like to discuss them here. Some of us actually have to receive them still in polite company.
Yes, of course.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
the patrician will be here the night of my fete.
Will he?
Yes,
Oh,
it is extremely important that he has an excellent time for it. To be honest with you, I will take you into my confidence, my dear. I'll open up my chemise, if you will, and let you see it within.
Oh, I'm so honored and greatly looking forward to it.
It is my hope that, I don't know if you have heard, but there is a legation from far off the theocratic kingdom of Kemet that shall be arriving here in Vadishar to open up trade relations and other sorts of things here. It is my hope that don't interrupt me, my dear. I'm speaking. I have the highest of hopes that the patrician shall appoint me to be the ambassador to Kemet. In my youth, I spent many, many years learning the languages of far-off lands. I even allowed myself to be thought to be used by the hegemons as with their own representative elsewhere, but they themselves did not see fit to appoint me. That is why you are so extremely important that this evening's entertainment go well. You understand?
Yes.
Now, what were you going to say? I'm sure it was very important. It was of no moment. Come, let me show you my mother's jewels.
Thank you.
Why can't I be there?
I'm sure I'll tell you all about it.
So, who has the harder job?
Technically,
Tremalki's or the sewer
supposed to be
duty?
escorting you over there too, am I not?
Yes, for the party. You could have come with me this time, but I have Alejandro with me,
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
I'm sure he's taking note of what's going of the house, and it's.
Oh no, I'm out of character. I'm just secretly hoping that where Anupam meets this guy in person. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this to happen.
Now, Anupam actually, in keeping with the motif of you sort of going back to the temple.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go with Kepri.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you were going to the caravanserai. Okay.
Because there really is no point in me, going back to the temple right now. Not that I know of, anyway.
Arslan. And were you two together? Arslan and Arslan?
I was gonna let him know that I'm gonna.
Oh, you were going to
Follow
follow
behind
along
us,
to see.
I'm head back towards my
Right.
my
And you were going to go back to the store,
Wait.
right to your shop, and Durhan joins you shortly.
I did want to be there for that.
Oh, okay.
He just wants to follow mine just to see if there's people following.
Okay, make a
Any of
perception
us.
roll. In keeping with your paranoia about anybody paying attention, taking an interest in what you guys are
It
doing.
was overwhelming, the paranoia.
Right.
I mean,
Agreed.
technically, I can make a perception roll as well.
Sure, make a perception roll.
Let's go for that. Ooh, that's a dirty 20.
Okay. I mean, you don't detect anybody,
Followed by a cat.
right? And I should mention also, Sabine, that I may not have been clear before. Godrigo is himself the.
The porter?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, I should. I realized when we were talking the other day that I may not have been 100% clear about that.
Well, Sabine wouldn't necessarily even know that. She was just
Right.
giving it to Godrigo, and
Fair enough.
Can you find someone? And he might have
And he
just
yes,
said,
I can.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, and not told her. He's,
I'm sorry if I'm late, Effendi. I did not want to be seen. I have errands that I am running for my master's household, and I thought I would take the opportunity to meet you in connection with that.
Atlas is here also. It's just the three of us. There were some questions that we had, but mostly concerning entranceways, potentially using the sewers to get in or out, where the sewers open near the treasure house, or potentially even into the treasure house. I don't know if you know anything about that.
The sewers empty eventually. To my knowledge, I have lived here most of my life. Into the river.
They start somewhere further north of the city. The water. So
Well, I'm saying that the river. There's a river. You know, there's within the city itself. You know, the river abuts the city. You know, so and there are various entrances into the sewer.
Right.
But most of them are exits from the sewer, but they can obviously be employed as entrances. And there are. That's one terminus point. There are others. There is also, of course, a terminus within the grounds of the treasure house.
Perfect. That would be our point. Mm-hmm. Do you know anything about the timing of guards within that part of the city? Like, are they on a schedule where they change guard at certain times, or?
Well, the city. I mean, there are patrol. You know, you would
right patrols, but in that part of the city, I don't know when they do
see.
things. I only know out here, and I only kind of vaguely know out here.
Since my master, Count Linnaeus Palamon's death, the treasure house has guards that guard it. I do not know their. I do not know what schedule they are on now.
And you have the key with you, right?
I do. He takes it off.
Anything interesting on either side? Inscriptions, writing?
No, it's a big heavy key, and it looks like a big key made bigger than that. But I mean it's a key like that, yes, but it's a big key to open a large heavy door, iron bound. Yeah, I mean it's a vault door. It's a big key, and remember she had said that it requires 3 of them.
But it would give us an idea of the type of tools that we need to use to pick the other.
Right. We may have to make some very custom lock picks. To match this weighting and size. Correct. And all that. To that end, we're going to make a mold so that we can make tools to match this stuff.
Yes, of course.
So, take him to it.
You press the key, you turn on the other side, you press it, right.
Right.
I actually have a key, I forgot to bring it, but I'll bring it next week. Thank you. And he takes it.
Pick off any clay and stuff.
Yeah. It makes a good impression.
How close?
Like here.
Do you know how close that those 3 locks are to each other? Can the 3 using it see and hear each other clearly, or
yes.
Are they separated in some
yes.
way? Okay. So it would be even tougher.
We need to be in opposite rooms.
Right. Time it. Without watches or clocks.
It's a video game mechanism.
1, 2.
And do you happen to know where this key and the door that it opens, is it on which level? Is it on the ground floor, the Where within
The second floor.
the second floor?
How many floors are there?
3.
Do you know what's on the other
And
floors?
the basement. I do not. They're
Oh,
all.
the basement. Basements can be an excellent way to escape, or they can be a trap.
Entrance,
You
exit.
could- Yeah. Have you been in the basement? Have you seen it?
I have seen the basement. Yes, it has been many years, of course, but I had many occasions to be in the basement. Yes.
You remember seeing any covers to entrances to the sewers? And then do you remember seeing anything in there? Round metal coverings to anything in the floor, or even the side, the
It might have
walls
been a-
potentially.
Separate room.
Could have been.
Perhaps there may have been. Yes.
You wouldn't happen to know anyone who has seen architectural or drawings of the area or of the treasure house itself? Do you? Or has anyone mentioned that? Your former master?
He took great pains for secrecy, but it would seem that the sewers and such matters would have some record kept somewhere.
Master architect.
I don't know who the architects are.
Or the city official. Well, whoever the
We'll have to
architects
find that
were
out.
would be long dead. You know what I mean? So
Right, but whoever maintains those records.
I see, right.
If the records are even maintained
Right.
officially. Right. That would be a worthy first break in. And probably a much easier one.
If such records are kept.
If they are. And they may be kept by people who understand what they have. Wouldn't it be interesting if it was the one you know down below? If I were him, I would want to know that. I would want those records.
He's got people to map it out for him. Doesn't need records.
That's true.
He can send his minions to it.
Yeah.
Throw 100 of them at it, it's 200.
Did
Thank
you have
you.
anything else?
I don't
don't
think
either.
anything else.
We don't want to keep you too long. We want you to
Let you get back
stay
to
on your schedule.
Yes.
Thank you. That was all that we needed to know.
thank you, my friends. Thank you, masters. I appreciate your help. And he
That's out.
leaves.
Finding those records could be really valuable. They could also they could tell people someone's looking into this though. So they'd have to be stolen, not inquired about to the officials that would have it.
When Kepri, when you went to announce to request the embassy to discuss the embassy with the patrician, was Arslan with you?
I believe
It's Alexides.
was
Because
a
they
Lex.
played Senate and
Yeah.
Right.
Senat, whatever.
It's Senat.
Senat.
Yes. Like,
And backgammon or something.
Right. That's correct. Okay.
In fact, that's how he got, between Alexides and the archpriest, is how he got his audience with patricians.
Well, I think we let those who we've asked things be done by other individuals, let them look into the things they're going to look into, and I think we can
Yes.
be on our way.
I agree. They're good at what they do, and they'll keep eyes off of us while they look.
Make a perceptional.
There's a spy at the door.
I hope not with that roll.
12.
Excuse me. You hear a voice from out there. At first you thought maybe it might have been Jerhan still out there, but you hear a voice that doesn't sound like him.
I go out there.
And there's a man, a very well-dressed man out there. Looks...
How can I help you? Come in, come in.
Thank you, you're very kind. I cannot stay. I am here to deliver a message to the Honorable Arslan. Would you be he?
I would be him.
Is there a back door to your place?
Yes.
I'm gonna go out the back door and go around and wait for this guy exits.
I come with an invitation from my master and employer, Patafan the Gold.
Do I know that name? Patafan the merchant, head of the Dyers Guild. Oh shit.
Yeah, he's
knew that
usually
one.
called Patafan the Fat.
Patafan the Gold.
Yeah.
That's what he calls himself.
Yes.
No one calls
Everyone
it to
else
his
calls
face.
him the Fat.
Oh,
exactly.
Yes.
Is there an invitation, or is it just verbal?
He has asked me if you would have some time at the 4th hour of the afternoon to meet him at the Badashah Bourse. Which is the
stock exchange.
Stock exchange, the stock market.
Oh boy.
Of course, of course.
It's near it's actually where the Grand Casbah is.
Of course. I'd be honored.
It would be his honor and delight to receive you.
Thank you.
I will tell him you will see him at 4.
I will.
And you see this guy leaves, and he's dressed very nicely, you know, and he...
Is there
He
anybody?
just did what he did to you last week to me.
Yeah, I think so.
Is there anybody?
Are we all gonna get this? I don't know if I like this.
Or is he just by himself?
He's by himself.
I'm getting nervous
The
here.
DM fights back.
Feel my pain.
He heads into the city, shakes off the dust.
What was that all about?
I've been invited tomorrow to meet
Today.
today
Today.
the Dyers Guild, the Patafan the Gold he calls himself, the Dyers Guild
You have no
master.
dealings with the Dyers Guild.
I may be about to, probably because of his likelihood of
This is a nice shop.
he may be. It's interesting. That's actually how shops are obtained here, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
We're gonna go check his will, make sure you're still on it for the shop. Yeah.
It's a nice shop you have here. It'd be a shame if something were to happen to it.
Makes a nice front.
Yeah.
It would be good if you were to accompany me halfway there and monitor their surroundings for my potential escape, if it turns into that. And maybe I'll take either Anupam or
I can come along as
Capri or
your.
both. Do you want them to know your face?
It can be changed.
That's true. That can be done. What time is it? About? How long do I have before?
2 hours.
So as I was saying,
You know
Brother
about
Anupam,
the silk
Right.
you should
from Kemet that we were looking at potentially bringing in. But we wanted to meet with the Dyers Guild to make sure that we did it appropriately.
Should that have been Capri?
Yes, I was waiting for Kepri. Kepri's caravan is going to be coming with his sister, who has samples of the wares.
And did you talk to them before? And
To Patafan?
yes,
No.
maybe we should bring him with you.
Oh, of course. Although my thought, I knew that we needed to meet with him. I didn't want to meet with him until we knew the goods were going to arrive, and until we did a little legwork to figure out
This is
how
just
best to.
the timing is bad.
Terrible.
I don't like this. There's too many coincidences happening.
It can't be avoided. This one.
Oh, I know.
I don't feel like this is a coincidence at all.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence.
Nope, not even a little bit.
He obviously has caught word of the caravan that's going to be arriving in 2 weeks' time with wares from Kemet, including silks, that he has no connection to or control over. And he probably knows, not probably, I'm sure he knows that this stall would become the first point of contact through, although I'm not sure how he would have gotten that connection directly. It would have been more like through the setting up the ambassadorship. We need to find.
Maybe they've heard of your connection with Kip. We need to go find him.
Yeah, let's go find him.
So as I was saying, brother, you should come to Kemet sometime. It's lovely. The golden sands, palm trees and dates, right along the river Apophis, is when it's in high ebb, of course, is the water is so clear and so green and it's as sweet as the sugared honeys of anywhere else.
Ah, there you are.
Oh,
Did you complete your list?
not yet. We were just about to get on our way.
Could you possibly complete that tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yes.
I
We have
don't.
need of you.
I don't like the sound of this at all.
Aren't we going on a 2-week journey with you to bring your sister back?
We are. Last I checked.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the supplies can be gotten soon, though. Do they
Yes,
not?
they do. Is this?
Aren't most of the supplies already completed? I thought you had
I
already done
mean-
those transactions.
I need to ensure that the bill of sale is given to Draglio, or at the very least his associates, as well as some of my others. It shouldn't take more than. Shouldn't take that long. I mean, when do you need me? What do you need me?
We
for?
have a 4 o'clock appointment.
What time? I look up at where the sun is.
A couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah.
We'll accompany you.
Very well then. More the merrier. I was just telling Brother Anupam about the shores of Kemet. However, stay away from the water horses. They will kill you.
Water horses?
Yes, very large creatures. Teeth like this big. And they are very angry. Very, very angry.
I want to make an insight check on
Yep.
that.
Mhm.
That's a dirty 20.
You have them in Gundwara also.
Oh, you do?
Gundwara.
Okay.
They're hippopotamuses.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine.
Probably don't
You also know that they have a nasty temperament and
And
Yeah.
nobody rides them.
Right. Oh, yeah.
We call them water horses as a jest because occasionally a foreigner will come in and we tell them that they are the most powerful mounts, and then we send them to them.
when
That is a cruel trick.
it reminds when he said in the
Right.
the tusks that they reminded you.
Right. Oh, you're talking about hippos.
Hippo.
Yeah, that's what we call them. Sorry.
Oh, that's quite all right.
Yeah.
If it's not a cruel trick, if they are dumb enough to, if they see the creature and they are dumb enough to try and ride it, then obviously the gods deemed their death that
I
day.
thought they were a myth.
No, they are quite real.
Oh, very real.
Very, very real.
Oh, absolutely.
They are
Why would the gods
Quite
waste
vicious,
their time
too.
on something like that?
because the gods have a very funny
Wait a
sense
minute.
of
We
humor.
have more important things to discuss. We're meeting with Pontifan the Gold. The head of the Dyers Guild.
The Dyers Guild. Weren't we supposed to meet with them later? Like,
We were.
walk with me. We're almost there. I need to get this dealt with.
Yes.
Otherwise, we will die of thirst in the desert.
Yeah, and if we don't go to this, we will die of murder.
In the city.
Well, then I suppose we should see that our tasks are completed.
All of them.
Indeed. Let's go. Reminiscing about home, we'll have to wait till later, and about our murderous beasts.
One last thing, my dear. How high a range can you cast your voice? My mother has the hearing of a mastiff. And the higher you can go, the more it will perturb her.
I have a robust falsetto.
I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it sounds dreadful. I'm sure if you employ it, you can be certain that you'll be hired back for future work, and your gratuity shall be more than adequate to the task.
I know just the song.
I shall look forward to seeing you then on the night of the Yaldo. And until then, if you have any questions, I'm certain that somebody will be able to answer them for you.
My only question as ever is how best to please Lord Marcus.
Well said. Thank you very much. We must do this again soon.
Absolutely.
I will see you on the Yaldo.
Yes, my lord. And if you need me for anything before then, don't hesitate to send me.
And you get to the caravanserai.
Well, we must, it's not too far. We must get to Droglio's establishment.
Don't tarry.
Oh, no, well, of course not. Not like I have a million other things on my mind. Being murdered by the Dyers Guild before I even leave the city.
Which is closer, to where I'm coming from, the temple or Arslan's stall?
Probably the temple.
I need somewhere to go and scream into a pillow.
I respect
At your good
that.
fortune.
yeah.
Yes.
I respect the hell out of that
Good
decision.
fortune.
I go to Droglio's building.
Yep.
I find the first person who I know there. Tell me, is Droglio in town?
Washington, who is his, one of his...
Caravan guards.
Yeah, precisely. He says, no, the master is...
Still
The
out.
master is traveling.
Still out east, I suppose.
Is.
What? No, yeah.
May I assist you?
Yes, I've interacted with Washington once or twice. Yes, I have some items, some of which I've spoken with before with various representatives on Droglio's behalf in the near future that I need. Some have already been acquired and some are in the process. I need them post haste, if you'll understand. The ones that I have not previously spoken of. If you'll see that your master or the representative of your master gets it. It is a small list.
May I?
Of course. Just some rudimentary supplies for a brief sojourn through the wastes. Nothing.
Yeah, I see bedrolls, blankets, lantern,
Yeah, it's
cook
all-
pot, right, sweet. Lamps, oil, water skins.
Tents?
Hmm?
Tents?
No, I didn't include tents.
Bedrolls.
Bedrolls?
You got bedrolls. I was.
Be sleeping under the stars.
You are sleeping under the stars.
I'm sorry, sandstorms that
sandstorm.
can tear the skin off your
That's what the cart is for.
body.
That's what the
You
cart
have
is
a cart.
We have a covered
Okay.
cart. We have a covered wagon, and all you got to make sure is no skin is exposed. You all guys all have your desert traveling equipment, right? Right?
For the trip we didn't expect. No.
Yep. Might be like
I was literally told about just today. No, I don't.
no, that's what you got to be prepared for.
Or a random trip to the desert.
Of course, you never know when that could happen. You can hold on to that if you.
I will.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Washington. I do appreciate it. Any haste that you can speed along.
I will employ all due haste in...
Most of it should be taken care of. Just the last of it, the cart and the camels.
It's always the cart and the camels, isn't it?
I'll tell you this: it is either the cart and the camels or the merchants themselves. It's a race to see who is the slowest. Well, if that's everything, then I think we should go meet our new partners. Partners.
That would be an outcome.
A nice outcome. The preferred outcome, I suppose. Oh, I can
That's
imagine.
from one perspective.
Sorry, now remind me, who is it that we are going to meet, and why are we going to meet them?
The
Dyers Guild,
Master of the Dyers Guild.
Master of the Dyers Guild has requested an audience.
And this is
At,
good,
at the Bursch.
bad?
Bursch.
No.
The Bourse.
Bourse.
Like horse with a
It
C.
is bad.
Oh,
We fully intended to treat with the Dyers Guild somewhere down the line. However, we did not expect to be, for lack of a better term, ambushed at this point. We wanted to make sure that we are at least semi-established. We are bargaining from a position of weakness, as I'm sure.
Well, I did hear you joke about perhaps dying from this meeting. Is that perhaps why I
He
should...
does not tolerate competition.
Aha.
Which is why I believe our stance was we were to toe the line in till such a point that we could actually pose something of a
Until we could change the
the status quo.
And you did mention something
The
about
conversation.
importing silks from Kemet.
You are very perceptive as ever, Brother Anupam.
And that's... Oh. Well, that...
You are a master of puzzles.
Well...
We could always head out
I don't
today.
know about that.
And never come back, I
And not
suppose.
return.
It is an option. I'm sure you can live.
Your shop has a history of that. The owner leaving.
The boy what's his name?
Tarantino.
Tarantino's, yeah.
He would be like, oh, I have my own shop.
Right.
Moving up in the
Isn't
world.
that how you
I wonder
die?
what kind of adventures he'll have.
We can all go and live in the desert. I have a contact or two amongst the Kuranaji. We could live a nice nomadic life.
I've not met the man. I do know people who have met the man. I also know people who died soon after meeting the man.
I feel like I should definitely accompany all of you on this.
Oh, yes. That was an assumption.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, I was considering, I thought it was just going to be a boring business meeting, and I was just
It's going to be a boring business meeting. If things go moderately well.
Okay.
The problem is-
Considering the history of this group, I'm going to assume it's not going to go well, so I'm going to come with you.
The only reason he would have ever asked me to a meeting is because he's caught word of us looking at bringing silk from Kemet
Which is an interesting thing of it.
without asking him.
I'm wondering how he caught word of that. Did he catch word from my association with you and my association
Not
with
with me. Probably when you went to see the
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
what was it? The
Patrician.
patrician.
That's what I'm wondering because I am one of the ones bringing in the silks, or will be. And then my association with you, no doubt, was how he caught wind of you and asked you.
Yes.
That's my thoughts. We will have to investigate.
You are the manufacturer bringing in the goods.
This is-
I am the distributor within his realm.
Yes.
I mean, if this man is as powerful as you say he is, then it wouldn't make sense that, you know, once he heard about you bringing in the silks, they probably did a little bit of research.
Oh, no, I
and
did.
then found out your association with
I
Arslan.
Puzzle Master Anupam, I am merely just trying to connect the pieces together. Not nearly as fast as you, of course, but...
Rogues, cutthroats, and fences are far easier to deal with.
Evidently. Keep trying.
Yeah,
You're good.
He is a very dangerous man in the city.
Then let us not keep him waiting.
And we'll start heading that way.
Better to be early than late.
And the Bourse is actually it's in Old Town, but it's in an area where Old Town abuts with the Great Casbah, and it's where the wealthiest people. Let me say different. It's where the captains, the captains of commerce make their deals for livestock, grains, grapes, wines, oils, olives, things that are coming in, things that are coming, and it's all done usually very, and you've been there before, I mean, most of your stuff comes from, you buy wholesale, so you don't really necessarily,
Right.
but you've been in, but it requires an invitation to be a member of the Bourse, and. So to be able to trade and do business there, because of the level that they're trading in,
Yeah, this ain't some 2-bit stall.
Yeah, they're buying thousands of carpets at one time, or things by the
This is the wholesale.
By the caravan load.
Yeah, by the caravan load, right. Things that even before they've necessarily been produced. The grapes may not have even been grown yet, and they're being bought and sold.
Is Bardis a member of the Bourse?
Who is that again?
That's the...
Alejandro is.
Oh, Leandro is? Oh.
No, Eliandro is not.
I thought it was Stock Exchange.
He's not.
Isn't
Oh,
Bardus
actually,
the
he is.
sword-
Actually, he is in the Bourse. Yes, he's a member of the Bourse. Yeah, Eliandro is a member of the Bourse.
Isn't Bardus the one that is the guy who put us onto the knowledge we needed to... The master of... the guy who just came to see us a little while ago.
The guy with clams.
Khalil Osmi? Khalil Osmi?
Oh, Khalil Osmi.
Oh, you're thinking the one that Alexis went to see?
Bardus and a sword? No. Khalil Osmi is the guy.
Khalil
Osmi is the
High-end merchant.
He's the merchant that puts you on the.
Yeah, is he a member?
He's not a member of the Bourse. No.
Oh, okay.
But Eliandro is.
Maybe we should have a... See if we can find Eliandro real quick.
Yes, that could be...
For navigating the labyrinthian aspects.
Did he meet up with me again as I was leaving, or did he just disappear completely?
No, actually, you met up again.
If we have time, we'd like to go find Alejandro.
You might not have time.
We may have to go in this way.
We should send word.
So, and actually, I'll wrap that up with you. So, when you are finished with Lord Tremalchi's, Eliandro is there. He's in the, and when he's waiting downstairs, admiring Tremalchi's, finery, and he tells you as you leave. I gave a tip to Eliandro's cook. I told him that you have an irregular digestive system. I might need to go and discreetly slip out in between acts. And you need a discreet place where nobody could see you to do it in case you need to slip away.
I see. Very good. Thank you for that, and thank you for leaving me alone with Lord Tremalchi's. I notice you discreetly stepped out as well.
My digestive system is very irregular.
I'm
for
sure,
real.
and it does not tolerate Lord Tremalchi's at all.
I thought that you were adequately suited to the task, particularly to be able to get a sense of what was located where, in case you needed to make a hasty departure.
Yes, I obtained a great deal of information. At a very great cost.
1,000 yards down testifies.
Let us leave now.
And so you were going to send word to try to see if somebody could
And
track
tell
you
him
down.
where we're going, and maybe he can meet us there even as it's proceeding.
Right, in progress, right.
Out of curiosity, when we went in, did Yusuf or the other guards actually check our pass?
They did.
Okay.
And having asked that, you also noticed that a higher ranking Black Helm looked at it also when it was taken to the side in the little the guard room area.
Right.
And it's getting as it gets later in the afternoon, the business down in the Bourse wraps up. But you see there are probably about 24 people still there, and it's a courtyard area. It's actually it's a courtyard that's got shaded areas, but for the most part, it's a place where people
Do they do exchanges like on the stock exchange in the old where they bark?
They do it like this. They talk to each other. They conduct business up close, and make a make a history roll.
19.
Okay. At some point, you were you had Potiphar pointed out to you at some previous time, so you recognize a man that looks like him. He looks like he's...
I assumed that I knew what he looked like just from past dealings.
Right.
It's one of the people that's
Yeah, he's in a different
distance,
league.
like-
Yeah, right. In terms of the his.
But from the moment I heard him, I knew he was important enough to take notice of.
Right. He doesn't look particularly. I mean, he looks like he's a portly middle-aged man, actually past middle age, probably closer to 70 than 60. Very well dressed. He's got a trimmed beard, and he wears a hat. And you see that there's about a dozen people around him, and he's. Some of them come say something into his ear. Some of them he nods to. Some of them he doesn't seem to really talk. And a couple of them he reaches into. He has a purse that he takes off of his belt, reaches into and puts some coins in a few of their hands. And it looks that his business seems to be winding down for the afternoon. Make a perception roll.
Would that be just him or everybody?
23.
Just him.
And as we approach, we're going to try and... I don't want to interrupt. We'll stop it close enough that he'll know that we're there, but at a distance that he can complete whatever he's doing.
Right.
And
It's the guy here.
At a respectable, you take it at a respectable distance.
The guy who came to your shop. See if you see him.
the guy who came to the shop, is he here?
Yes.
Up there with him?
Yes, he's standing over there, and in fact, you notice him say something to Potiphar, and he looks over.
Oh, he changes. Roll walk forward. Go forward.
Which one of you is Master Anupam? Sorry.
I was gonna say what?
Throwing twists in.
And which of you is Master Arslan?
I am, sir.
Forgive me, we have not met before, and I like to know people by face. And now I know yours.
I've seen you from a distance many times. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm excited.
I'm delighted to make your acquaintance also, especially a person of such recent change to your possible fortunes, as word has reached me. And please, can you...
Yes, let me introduce you to my compatriots here. Kepri, who is from Kemet.
I've heard many things about you.
Yes, and you.
It's good to know many things.
Anupam, from Gandhara. Gudwara. All these names are so common.
Not necessarily untrue either. Gudwara is part of Gandhara, so...
Pronunciation.
You are a long way from home.
You don't need to.
Yes. Very long way.
And this is my man-at-arms.
Atlas, son of Rathic. Yes. Well, we find work wherever we can, yes? I knew your father. Didn't like him.
Why did you not say that?
You're a man of business and commerce. I understand that you have important places to be.
This is the only important place for me to be.
That's a great honor. You honor me by your focus, Master Arslan. And tell me, and I see you have brought your friend from Kemet, who I believe, if information serves correctly, is the facilitator for the new and historic legation that shall be coming from Kemet.
If the gods will it, of course. And I'm sure they will look favorably upon this endeavor and all who participate in it.
Yes, well, the god's favor is always a plus.
I'm going to scope out the room, if that's alright.
It's a courtyard. It's,
Okay.
it's an outdoor
Giant
space.
20 courtyard. 32 crossbows.
You see, I mean, it's mostly or all.
I'm keeping an active eye.
Yeah,
out,
you're
basically.
keeping an eye. You're saying, why is that guy wearing an overcoat in
Yeah,
the summer?
exactly. I'm watching one guy's arm
Right.
shift into his coat.
Yeah.
Yes. One person with someone has one hand in their pocket, but not
Right,
both.
right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yes. To that end, one of the endeavors that I've been looking at was potentially bringing goods from Kemet. We have not had any mercantile opportunities with Kemet in quite a long time.
That is true. The kingdom closed itself up some generation ago or more. Isolated itself.
And you called me about 2 weeks before I was going to call you, which is very interesting. I wanted to speak to you anyway about potential goods, although there's no guarantee the samples would be here. So unless I had samples, I had nothing to speak to you
Yes,
about yet.
of course. I understand that they will be importing sample wares for the consideration of myself and others for the purposes of commercial uses. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Master Kepri.
Oh no, not at all. The rumors of your sharpness are on point.
There are many rumors that
All of it.
that connect to me and my name, Master Kepri. Some of them are perhaps more accurate than others, and I am happy to own many of them. But I am concerned that the entrance of new markets may have an unsettling effect on the balance of things. Please don't be misunderstood. Don't mistake my intention. I am not here as a nemesis. I'm here as a friend.
Of course, this is why we intended to seek you out. We have no intention of upsetting the delicate balances of the market. We sought you because, speaking for my partner in this endeavor, he is not as well versed, it is unfortunately true, I must speak the truth, as always, in the distribution of so many fine goods at one time, whereas you are more than versed in this, and you have shown yourself to be this for many years.
My particular and narrow concern is the introduction of new silk goods into a market that is heavily, woefully, sufferably burdened by the entrance of so many such stuffs. There are others, of course, who may concern themselves with your dates and silken wares and the like, and I am certain that you will find interest in all of these things. And I and those who share my interests within the Dyers Guild are never opposed to the entrance of new persons who wish to establish trade routes. But there is a protocol for such things, and seeing as how I have had the pleasure of meeting you here in advance of your own seeking me out, I'm happy to have such protocols brought to you so that you will know exactly what would be expected from the guild should such silks be deemed marketable and of commercial value here in the Valley of Caliph. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, and I expected nothing less. I understand the delicate balance of this particular market. It's a high-end market, almost an art, and I do believe that the Kemet silks are interesting enough that many people in the city within a narrow range of people that can buy silks would be interested in
I
some
have
of
no
them.
doubt.
And
The very name of
and I would definitely like to make sure that the Dyers Guild is accepting of these products coming in. I'm not here to start a commercial war with anyone.
Well said. And I am certain that the exotic nature and the quality will present its own.
You have stolen the very words and breath out of my mouth.
They will. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not the latter.
I hope not. I'm using that for the moment.
Then, building upon this equity and goodwill, let us hold a good thought. I will send representatives from the guild with expectations, and of course we will look forward to the arrival of the embassy and the trade stuffs.
When we have more to display, we would be more than happy to see that the wares pass your no doubt stringent inspection, and so we can begin the process.
Of course one wonders, why is Kemet looking to open up relations now?
Yeah.
I ask purely as a matter of
Oh no, of course.
curiosity.
Of course. It is a curious thing. My homeland has been sealed with mysteries and rumors and scare stories for babes of giant serpent men, and there is much to be known, that wishes to be known.
Well, not all of them are fear-babe tales.
Not all of them. I speak from a little experience, I would hope. There are some in Kemet who believe that in order for my home to prosper, things cannot stay as they are forever. The sun moves, it does not stay in one place. It does not stay in one place. So they believe in following like the motions of the sun and the moon, to change with the times and grow a stronger, more prosperous land for all.
This sort of forward thinking, however, requires the acquiescence of powerful individuals and
Oh, no doubt. No
agencies.
doubt. No doubt. I do love my home with all my heart. But I must admit, we can be a stubborn people.
Well, that may be true, but again, there's a specific reason why Kemet, which has been isolated for 50 years, your own excellent example notwithstanding, but you are not fully Kemish yourself, are you?
Your eyes are keen, yes. My heritage is not fully Keemish. This is true.
Dun dun dun!
Bastard. Yes and no.
That word has a whole lot of different meanings.
To be fair.
Yes. I am half Keemish on my father's side. My mother was of Almarak descent.
And so, your own personal experience has brought you outside of the Serpent, the territorial borders of the Serpent of the South, yes?
Yes, my experience could be said as unique at the very least. I would not bore you with my entire family history on how I came to stand before you as am.
Nor would I inquire of all of your
Of course.
personal details.
We all have our littles.
I will say then that I am looking forward to the arrival of the legation and the merchant stuffs, and to continuing this conversation on a more informed footing at such time. Yes?
Yes.
Indeed.
Well then, Well met, Master Arslan.
And you. Your man said that you were Patafan the Gold. I never heard the gold part. What is that? I assume it's not just piles of gold. Is it the silks?
What's in a name?
Rose by any other name would smell just as sweet.
Well met, friends, and it is not every day that a humble merchant of the city gets to meet a legend.
What the hell did your father do that everyone dislikes him so much?
Oh, no.
Everyone
I
has said-
like that as a running
I
joke. It's
don't-
like,
I
I knew your
do.
father. I didn't like him.
Yes.
That's like the one line.
Yes.
Did you like your father? That's something I gotta know.
You were the only one.
You heard his charm.
Dear old dad.
He's family.
He keeps a piece of clay shard in his pant with a drawing of his dad on it. Graphic.
And we'll take leave.
Until we meet again.
Until next time. Let's get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Sooner rather than later.
Not too fast.
Not too fast.
I just wanted to cut to the chase and ask him what percentage you wanted. All these pleasantries, you...
Oh, that's coming.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what's coming next.
Well, I think that went very myself.
No,
I think that went very
no, I
well.
didn't.
You're alive.
I mean, hey.
We are.
It's not like he's gonna kill
No
you.
daggers were thrown at us. No arrows were shot at us. I feel like this was a
You
very...
think there were no arrows shot at us?
I mean...
There were so many arrows shot at us.
I bit my tongue. I was gonna... I just...
We appreciate you biting your tongue. No doubt you have the taste of copper in your mouth at this point. Well,
All these pleasantries. Just get
There's
down
so-
to it. How much do you want?
the nobles do love their
That is coming. That
the
is
upper
coming
crust.
next, as a matter of fact.
The upper crust do like.
It'll be
their-
the opening salvo, and very likely the one we will be stuck with to start.
Well, gentlemen, this has been a very good distraction for my day, but I'm going to retire back to the temple.
I think I will.
Time to sleep.
Indeed. I think I will inquire to see how the goods are coming along to make sure everything is in order.
I'm interested in knowing how Sabine's meeting went.
That would be nice to know as
What
well.
she learned.
Indeed. Perhaps we'll see if we can find her at the shop before we part ways. We have a day or two, so any preparations that need to be made should be before you leave wherever you need to get to look after your stall.
Yes. We'll head back.
Personally, I think that went swimmingly.
It did not go swimmingly.
We are not dead. That is swimmingly in my book. It is, just remember, the slings and arrows are only temporary. We need only wait until we have the anaconda-like grasp on power.
At the moment, we're garter snakes.
Oh, do not mistake me for. Do not mistake it, friend. We are but tiny vipers. Tiny. We will grow into our fangs.
As evening starts to fall, you can see that there's dark clouds kind of rolling a little bit. It looks like it might rain.
Get indoors.
Heavy, you know.
Wait for Sabine and talk about this.
And you also experience these clouds as you get back to the.
So like rain or the remnants of a sandstorm?
No rain. You're in a fairly.
We don't get sandstorms like this.
You're not this far in. Yeah, you're in a very fertile part.
I'll put the hood up until I get back into the ziggurat.
Make
Play some Senate.
make a perception roll.
Perception, and you did. Ooh, that's a 25.
You smell something as you make your way through the gardens towards where your quarters are, and you smell something that you haven't smelled in a long time. It's a familiar smell. Make an insight roll.
Burning flesh.
Damn! Wow,
That's a 23
burning
insight.
flesh.
Nice.
Heads on pikes.
How fucking dare you?
Too soon.
Too soon.
Way too soon.
So,
You're wet
So-
tiger.
you,
How to tie back into that flashback somehow.
With harsh man.
It's got a pleasant smell actually, and at first you think it's you don't detect it because of the overpowering smell of jasmine and other flowers that are blooming within gardens, but this has a distinctive smell that could be described as earthy, woody, and smoky. There's that smoke. And well, you made an insight roll, right?
23.
And it actually reminds you of vetiver,
Haven't smelled that in a while.
which, for the benefit of those who don't know what that is, it's a meditation oil that Anupam has used in the past. And it strikes you, Boom, that you haven't smelled this in 2 years since you've been home.
I don't try to
And
follow
it was
my
your
nose.
it was your favorite your oil to meditate to. And as you round the shrubbery, you see a man, Tahir Khan, sitting on the side of a fountain, and he is holding in his hand a bronze receptacle, an oil container, in fact, from back home, with a motif that you've seen before, and the oil smell is this is quite pleasant. I can see why your order would find value in its employment.
Well, those who are untrained in how to properly utilize its common properties, it's usually wasted on them.
I would not disagree with you, Lord Anupam. I merely came to bring it as a gift to you, and from a friend.
I will accept this gift. Thank you.
That's from your homeland?
You're not there.
Oh, I'm not there. Oh, okay.
He
Oh, he went off on his
He
own.
went off. He left. Right. And it has and you have make an insight roll.
Yep.
You fall.
That. 13.
What are you trying to? What is your insight?
My
To
whole
meditate.
thing is, I'm just trying to figure out, is he trying to poison me or something? I mean, I did see him sniff from it, so probably not, but... Like, why the gifts? Why the gifts in particular?
To get inside your head.
Let me see the.
That one's from a friend, and what is it?
It's free real estate. Right in here. Free real estate. Living rent free.
Between the ears.
Living rent free in Anupam's noggin.
I will take the head off and just get a little sniff.
I hope you will forgive me for taking you unawares yesterday. It was not my intention. I know that it can be overwhelming to experience something that one had lost. Yes?
Yeah, you're correct about that.
Fortunately, yours is not a permanent loss.
You're right. It won't be.
Perhaps, have you considered returning home?
Oh, I absolutely have considered returning home one day, when I'm ready. You know, I've got to be 100% honest with you. I don't enjoy beating around the bush or playing games. So I'm just going to be straight and narrow with you and ask you, how much exactly does it cost to buy the soul of somebody to betray his own people?
I fear that you have mistaken my intention and my position.
No, I really don't think I have. That's fine. I think you know exactly what it is that you are trying to lure me back into. And you tell your striped masters that they're not going to sway me back so easily.
I will send your words back to those who would hear them.
Thank you.
He bows.
And the plot thickens.
Enjoy the vetiver. I will tell. What was his name? I just drew it the blank and I can't.
You mean my best friend?
Yeah.
Parshatam.
I will tell Parshatam that you enjoy the gift.
He lives.
He does. The gift is from him.
It just took the resonance of the entire night.
The what? What did you say?
He's now
We were
living.
saying that
Khan is now living rent-free inside
Inside his head.
and now he's renting the entire building.
I shall leave you to your thoughts then, and perhaps we can have a more meaningful opportunity to discuss matters of the past.
It's probably best that you leave my sight right now. It's free real estate.
He bows and turns.
I'm trying to consolidate in my head the man that I knew as my best friend and this person who evidently would sell out his country. And now I am feeling... Now I'm thinking... Could something have gone different if I had stayed? And I'm feeling nothing but guilt about that.
That was probably expected on his part.
Yeah, he's an asshole. Right?
Yeah. They played us like a fiddle.
We'll pause. What do you guys, meanwhile, back at the shop? Oh, and then the rain starts. As soon as he leaves, by the way, the rain.
TN's going on having fun tonight.
Right.
I'm having fun. I always have fun.
I'm sorry, I don't remember. Was the nearest place the temple or the...
The temple.
Okay.
Yeah, you were going to
So-
the temple. Yes,
Oh, I'm
right.
sorry, did you want this?
Kalima.
Kalima!
Errand! Bulgaria.
This is such a cool thing too, I like this.
It is cool, right?
God, I hate how you introduced it, but I love it. I think it's such a cool thing.
I said to myself,
It's like cursed in real life.
Right, only in the game.
If you hand it to me, I will put it in front of the camera.
Absolutely, please do. Man, this thing is beautiful.
That's what we call fans. It's, I'm sorry, not fans. It's, what is it?
Sure,
It's,
they can see it.
what did you say?
Yeah, sure, a little higher.
A little higher.
Yeah.
Is this good?
There we go.
Can you see it?
No,
Did you see it?
Yeah, there we no, yeah, now we got
Is
it.
that showing on the camera? Okay.
Now it's showing.
Yep.
Yeah, you're good.
It looks to me like a tiger.
Yeah, there's it's bronze and there's enamel on it and it has that
Move it down a little bit.
it's some sort of South Asian
It's already gone.
Yes.
Oh.
lion, tiger, dog,
Never mind.
you know,
Oh, you're right, I'm walking
temple
a little-
guardian spirit or the like.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
It's totally a tiger.
Totally a tiger.
I like it. Tiger is good. It does look like a tiger. Oh no, it totally is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a Rakshasa. Rakshas.
It's a great taunt.
Huh, the rain has stopped. Quite curious.
No, the rain
Started.
started.
Yes, the rain has started.
Yeah, don't let the necklace fall off it.
Oh no, it's already like bolted onto this side.
Yeah.
Actually, it was
I'm
actually
saying
off
if
the neck
if
already.
it falls off
Back
and it
on.
lifts the protector.
curse.
Oh
Right.
God!
You get to the Sabine gets to the
I have a
gets to the
hood
temple.
on against the
And
rain.
when you get there, you find Anupam standing to himself, and he's sort of make an insight check.
He needs your help.
I got a really bad roll, but I feel like he's sort of giving off
Cloisonne,
waves.
by the way, I drew a blank. It's called the style of
Oh.
this decorative is called cloisonne, with the
okay.
enamel and the brass, and you know, and they paint it and stuff. So, and did you make an insight roll?
I did. I got a
And you get a
I got a
plus.
6.
Oh well.
But I mean, I feel like waves of
Yeah, and you know him, right? You don't really
coming
need. You know
Yeah.
him well enough to know that he has a look that reminds you of like some sort of trauma.
All checks on his emotional state are done with advantage.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. He's not exactly
Yes.
poker.
gonna
We
say-
call it poker face.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, to be fair, I ain't trying to hide.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
18 in
Yeah,
that
he
case,
looks
I'll
like
give it
he's in.
advantage.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's in distress.
I thought these monks are supposed to have some, self-discipline.
Anupam.
He wasn't
Yes, it
trained
took
in
all of
jail.
my self-control to not drive my fist straight through his chest.
Anupam. Are you alright?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
You don't look fine. What's happened? You look upset. Very upset.
With that
I've
smell
never seen
still being
you-
there.
Yeah, you do smell this. I mean, it's.
Horrible, wretched smell.
Are you holding that still?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably staring at it right now.
That's very pretty. What is that?
It's it's a oil container.
It's a cat of some kind.
Yeah, tiger.
I would think you would be partial to those.
I'm not. I got a visit from Zahir Khan.
Oh,
Who
I
gave
see.
me this as a gift.
ah.
And you can smell. There's a very not unpleasant, woody, smoky. It's and you can tell. You know when that it's an oil, and you know him to
It's, I can't imagine that was meant as an actual gift.
Of course not.
I'm sorry. You might perhaps have to prepare yourself for dealing with him and him showing up on occasion to irritate you.
It wasn't just him.
He was with someone else.
No, he was alone, but it wasn't just the fact that he came to see me and brought me that. I could deal with that. When I was growing up, I had a best friend. He was with me all through most of my life, actually, through my training, through everything. He trained right alongside with me.
Block that person.
That's what I'm doing.
Parshatam was his name. While we were growing up, I always was the one who thought about the nature of being and how people live through their daily lives and just philosophy in general was really what preoccupied my time when I wasn't training. He always had an affinity for history and how governments worked and politics. When Tahir dropped that off, he said it was from Parshitan.
Do you think he was telling the truth?
I don't see why he would lie.
To bother you?
To know that my best friend has betrayed everything.
If that is what's happened. It may have been from Parshitan, because Parshitan is in a prison somewhere.
You know what? Actually, I forgot. That's a fair point.
Hey!
Wait a second.
Wait a second.
I didn't even think of
I
that!
didn't even think about making an insight check, but
I'm depraved on account. I was deprived! I mean, can you make an insight check for...
yeah, like
It's more an intelligence
retroactive
check.
insight.
More of a
Telepathy
what?
check.
It's more of an intelligence check.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be a
roll
little...
above a 6.
No.
Okay. All right. No problem. Yeah.
The opportunity.
I mean, you missed opportunity.
Yeah.
You have a
okay,
sudden
I'll-
insight that you
It's
can now
okay.
build upon.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well,
it's
that's
fine.
why having friends is, it's good
That's
to have
right.
friends. They can point these things out to you.
That's ideas.
I was conned.
I
Just
just,
to hear
I
it,
don't
Con.
see.
Wow.
Beat me to it.
I don't see.
Conned by the con.
I don't see an actual reason
Okay.
for them to lie to me. I pretty much, I did all but
Upset you.
I did all but call him out when he was here.
And what did you say to him?
I said to tell his striped masters that I would not be swayed back so easily, and he did not deny it.
Of course not, it's true, but you don't say that to him directly. You
Why not?
use it as a point of negotiation
Negotiation.
in your interchange.
I don't want to have any exchange with him whatsoever.
You've played every card directly in front of him. You've shown him the entire hand. You have to be more subtle than that. He read you completely, and of course he would, knowing your history, use your friend's name intentionally to upset you.
Or maybe he knew my history because my friend told him.
Yes, but did he tell him in polite conversation or under duress? You don't know.
I've never even met this man before today.
And you don't know that your friend didn't, possibly at the point of a torturer's blade. You do not know what's going on there. You do not know that your friend betrayed you. This may be a lie that is being used. Actually, did he even say that, or are you just inferring this? Perhaps he's just letting you torture yourself. You can't jump to conclusions.
He's quite good at it.
Yeah, you're right.
Comes with a 50-foot jump.
Gathering information is what is required.
Sabine.
You cannot let this man get to you. That is precisely what he wants. You have to steel yourself, internally steel your emotions. Be stone.
Funny, I've always been told my entire life I should be like water.
Water is crystal clear. You can see right through it.
Yes.
Stone is opaque.
Yes, but water can penetrate stone given proper time and patience.
And you have that kind of time and patience. You seem quite in a hurry to get things done.
You're right, I don't have the patience, but I should.
Well, you should work on that, and you should work on being less transparent with your enemies. This man is your enemy. Don't let him get to you. Don't let him inside. Don't let him win. Not even a small battle.
I'm off balance.
What will put you back into balance?
Right now, I don't even know. I know there's things I have to work through on my own, though. If he was telling the truth, if Harsh really has gone the other way, if he really has sided with the Rakshasa Kings.
You don't know that.
But if he has...
And even if he has, you don't know what reasons he might have. Perhaps he's a spy. Or perhaps he's doing it to save others. There are 1,000 legitimate and good reasons he could have.
Then why would he try to lure me back?
Who says it's him?
But that's the whole point. If it really was from him, if he really has done it, there would be no reason for him to send me this unless he wanted to try to lure me back.
And nothing says he sent that. Even if he is working for them. You cannot take a word that man says at face value. It is all a game to him. It is all opening gambits. It's all a way to try to lure you in.
He knew I enjoyed this oil. Of
course you enjoy that oil. Does your order not use that oil?
Not a lot of people, not everybody does.
Perhaps he did have that information then. But as I said, you don't know that he got that information in conversation. It may have been under duress.
I just can't shake the feeling that if I didn't leave, maybe things would have gone another way.
You enjoy racking yourself with guilt, don't you?
I don't enjoy it.
Do you want pain?
I don't want it, no.
Perhaps learning how to use fire would make you feel better.
Use fire?
Yes.
How so?
Come with me.
Okay.
Is there somewhere that has like an open fire, like a lamp or something?
Sure.
Braziers.
And I still have all my stuff with me?
Yeah, you can buy the temple.
I take out a little oil that, like belly dancers use for this. I put it on my hand, and I dip my hand in fire, and fire is on it. And then it starts to go away.
Oh.
It's for dancing with the fire. It hurts a bit at first, but you get used to it. It is most focusing. If you don't do it correctly, you get burned.
Huh. I'm not keen on burning myself.
Right, so you must focus. You must ground yourself. You must pay careful attention and clear your mind. Nothing else can enter it when you are with the fire.
All right.
Give me one of your hands. The other side. You might still want to touch things tomorrow. I put just the tiniest little bit on his finger. I put some on mine. It goes away very fast.
It does sting a little bit.
Of course, and is very hot. Yes.
Yeah.
It focuses your attention immediately to what's going on with your body. Did you think about him at all while you were staring at the fire and feeling it?
No.
Here's the oil. Have fun. Be careful.
Thank you.
I'm going to put my things away. If you need me, I'll be in my quarters.
All right.
Gungar monk immolates himself in front of the temple
Sign of protest.
I
saw that in Vietnam. Sign of protest.
Maybe he was just trying to.
Yes.
Maybe he put a little too much oil
He
on.
was trying to belly dance.
That
Fire.
totally changes that entire
Oh my
motif.
God.
No, I don't want this to happen.
Fortunately, that does not last long enough for that.
Damn you, Rakshasas!
With my last breath, I curse God.
And when you go back to your quarters to unburden yourself with the in a different way than Anupam unburdened
Right.
himself, you find the archpriest is standing in the doorway.
My lord.
Sabine, forgive me for interrupting you.
Always.
I saw you ministering to your friend Anupam
He
in
is
the gardens.
upset about something.
He has much to be upset about.
I imagine so.
I have a message for you that the chief priest of Ishtar would like to see you at your convenience.
Of course. Did he give any indication of what he wanted to see me about?
He did not. He asked who you were, and I told him that you were a temple entertainer and a courtesan of the city. But he did seem interested in meeting you.
Very well. I will answer his invitation with a message in return.
Good night, Sabine.
Good night. And thank you again for your continuing hospitality.
Peter, I just had a question. The temple that you mentioned of Ishtar, is that in any way similar to the classical Ishtar that? Oh, okay. So it's very much like goddess of spring and stuff like
No, a goddess of
Fertility.
war and
Almost
love.
the same as
that.
spring.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
goddess of love and war. Yeah.
Yep. All the things you fight about.
Right.
All the fighting that gets done.
Everything that is fair. All things are fair.
Right.
Right.
Gotcha. What was I thinking goddess of spring then? Was that
Maybe Inanna, who's often associated with her.
Right, and another fertility.
Yeah, fertility
Person.
and spring.
Right, that's probably why.
Yeah.
My apologies to anybody who I got there.
Any ancient
Not-
Babylonians watching, we are
Yeah.
very sorry if
I-
we have messed with your religion.
I do apologize.
Yes.
No curses, please.
Also, that's really cool you're still around.
Yeah, right? Go
So
you.
how did you do it? Please
Thank you for
write in
spending
and
your-
tell us.
We thank you for spending your now, no doubt, immortal time with us.
Yes,
Well, I mean, when you're immortal, you do have lots of time on your
it's
hands.
course.
true.
Right.
You
And
probably
they
spend
chose
a
to-
lot of time on
They're
Twitch.
just
when
as
you're
friendly with
alive.
us.
Yeah. So, hey, good on you.
We have a lot
Thank you.
to plan on when we're out in the sands.
We will. The bed.
Beyond our trip to the gardens.
Once we reach
out.
To concern ourselves with what transpired, we need to redouble our securities and prepare for probably political warfare over us with the threat of real warfare upon us.
I've been thinking on such things myself. I am, this may shock you, but I am slightly versed in a few courtly schemes. Shocking as it may be. The thoughts have crossed my mind and ways to counter them. We will have plenty of time when we are on the sands, as once we reach the wastes proper, it will be a whole lot of magnificent dunes for miles and miles and miles.
I would call that dead time.
And miles.
It's only dead time if you do not make it productive.
Or
If you don't
if
make
you
it
die.
back.
That's true.
And it's really dead time.
Unlike Anupam, I assume you caught the subtle
Oh,
hints,
Every
threads,
every hooked
potentialities.
barb. I am no fool, as I just said.
No sorry.
I do love Brother Anupam, but he can be more forward than.
He's naive.
I
He
wouldn't
lived
call
in
him.
one place that raised him in a certain way, and he hasn't experienced the things that can happen in Badashar to the inexperienced.
I would not call him naive, just trusting to the extreme.
Next week, the Zealots enter the Howling Waste. Ready to stop now? We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.